Hey, this is James, coming at you with another Liquid Loans Strategy version 3 spreadsheet. So Liquid Loans is a loaning platform, basically contract on PulseChain when it launches. PulseChain is a copy of Ethereum, full system state copy. So all your ERC20s will copy over to PulseChain. So if you have Hex, if you have Shiba, if you have not Doge, if you have whatever tokens you have on Ethereum, you're going to get copied over to Liquid Loans at one point, and then 2 to 4 weeks probably. If you sacrifice, you're going to get Pulse. If you didn't sacrifice and you have ERC20s, you can use PulseX, which is also part of the strategy, which is basically a fork of the Uniswap version 2. And what is going to happen when Pulse launches, before it launches to the public, they're going to have all the liquidity in version 2 of Uniswap will get bought up by a bunch of basically minted Pulse, and then there's going to be basically little to none of the ERC20s on Uniswap, and all those are going to get launched onto the PulseX swap Uniswap fork, and you'll be able to use that to buy your Pulse with the USDL. So let's get at it. This is version 3. Version 2's link is here. Added some links to Liquid Loans, PulseChain Hex, and my Twitter. And so all this is the same, except I added some columns and some additional quote unquote strategy. This shows you now the two risk models you take. You can start at 1,000 collateral, or you can go to 85%, which is 838% collateral, to kind of increase your risk but increase your rewards over time. And then I added this kind of sum up feature here to show you at every so many days it'll show you change that. It'll change this. It just gives you a summary of this for every 30 days or whatever. So you can just look at that instead of having to go down the spreadsheet. I added that, and then I added PulseX fees, because you're going to have a fee every time you take a loan from Liquid Loans, and then you're also going to have a fee whenever you swap USDL to Pulse with your Liquid Loans USDL. So it's USDL to Pulse via PulseX, which is the swap. So I added that on there. I'm not sure what the percentage is, so I just put in 0.25%. And then I added this, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And so I changed the date to do all the way to the left to make things easier on me and you. And what else did I do? So don't put anything in here. Put if you want to take money out to spend on other things, instead of the strategy, you're going to put the values in here so you can see it adds up over time. And it takes out, and then the sheet will automatically wait until, right now it's set to daily, so it'll wait a few days before it can take out another loan to keep your collateralization rate at 1,000%. So there's that. And then so here's the Pulse fees I added. And then ... So I added this little bit of strategy, or whatever you want to call it, to kind of reduce your risk, take advantage of drops in the price of Pulse basically over time. So what it does is you put in values here. So every time you take a loan out, you take a percentage, 25% or whatever you put in here, of the Pulse that you take out with using the loan, and you save that basically in a bag, and you wait until the price, basically this thing just kind of estimates whatever you put in here. So every time there's a 50% raise in price of Pulse, it assumes there'll be a 10% drop in the price of Pulse. And at that point, you're going to want to take the bag that you have of your Pulse that you've saved up and reinvest, or basically put it back into the Liquid Loans protocol to reduce your risk or whatever. So I added a few columns to notate that.
So right here is the total gross pulse that you save up, 25%, and then every time it hits the 50% or whatever you put in here, rise in pulse, it'll take that bag of pulse that you saved and put it back into the USDL. So it does that, and then it recalculates everything. And then this column here kind of tells you at what percentage drop you can survive given the new bag of pulse that's not in LiquidLoans at this point in time. So your original collateral, you want it to be at this, because this is for the first value here. So 87.67% is your 1,000% collateral. What this column does is gives you the idea of what your pulse can drop to in order to maintain the minimum 110% collateralization. So you can drop, every time you take out a loan, you add to your bag, and then your collateralization, your risk will go down because your price is going up. Your risk goes down. Basically, the higher your pulse price can drop before you get wrecked, basically. And then every 50% or whatever you put in here, it'll add that back as a loan, and then your risk go back up, basically. And then over time, it just keeps doing it. So that's that. These columns here basically help to calculate this and this. So it don't mess with these at all. Everything else is the same. I didn't copy out over this new stuff over to this additional risk model here. So it's not going to pair exactly, including these values. It's not going to pair that, but it'll be close enough. And then it also, I guess I didn't include the PulseX fees part of it. So it'll be close enough to show you so over time, if you go, if you have 20 million at the start and you invested 2,000 and given this, and then given like you have to wait a month for LiquidLoans to come out, over every 30 days, within, let's put back 121 here. So then your first year, you'll be at, 1.27x over just hodling, and then another 1.223x if you do it at 85 instead of 87.7. The prices are the same. So, you're going to gain a 1.29x over just a few percentage more risk based on this, this strategy. And, minus, you're at the minus the fees that you had that weren't calculated in there, and then this here. You can put in 0%. I don't think that'll. No, you don't want to put in. You're going to want to put in 50. You're going to want to leave this at a value, and then you're going to want to change this to like 0. Every increase price. I think I have to update that, but you can put in like a huge value. And then it'll make it so that it doesn't do that at all. And this takes a little while longer to recalculate because I added some rows to it in order to give you the extra data for this graph here, or this spreadsheet, mini spreadsheet here. So I believe that's all I changed on this one. At some point, I might make it so that you can use this basically as a ledger of all the actual transactions that you do on LiquidLoans. I'm not sure how that might take a little longer because I've got other things to do in the next couple weeks, so I might have to kind of X-nay on the spreadsheet nay or spreadsheet say. So I added this hex staking feature here. If you're new to Pulse or you're new to the Pulse the hex ecosystem, there's a hex token that lets you stake
stake hex both on Ethereum and on the new PulseChain. When you get copied over, you can buy some if you want. On the new PulseChain, you get hex, and then there's a staking aspect to it. If you go to hex.com and then go to stake, you'll see you can like stake it over time. So then I used, in order to kind of calculate averages, these different averages of T-share rates increasing over time, and the average hex T-share daily rate over time. I took the real time values over time over the past like 30 to 90 days based on this hex daily stats website and their data. Every day it changes, and the average, so over like 30 to 90 days it'll average the daily increase in that, just to kind of base it off something. And then instead of the starting at this 5, where is it at? Number of hex per T-share. So where is that here? Payout per T-share. So it doesn't start out, it starts out at like 6 something on the spreadsheet, because it takes the average of all like the past 30 to 90 days. See how this one's higher than most of these? So it averages them out, and it takes out some of the top ones just to kind of remove it removes the top, the ones that are kind of out of sync of the rest of them. So it takes those and calculates percentage of increase, and then finds out like the average start, and then don't mess with these values because these are used to calculate this. Same for these guys. So you can change this if you want to the newest one, and then because that always goes up and never goes down, and then your starting hex whatever, and then your days per stake, and then it actually gives you this over time based on this spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet goes down 555 days or whatever to max out your stake. So if you do just a 30-day stake with whatever starting you get, you're only going to get like 11% yield, so you're not even close to that 38 or 39% that Hex likes to tout. 40%. If you want to increase that, but decrease your availability of that Pulse or Hex, like you have to wait 30 days in order to take this yield out. So it's locked up basically. So if you could put in your max stake here, and then it'll take a while to recalculate. It takes a while. So at 30 days, it'll take out a stake every 30 days, and it adds on and on and on. At 555, you're gonna have your bonus, better bonus, and better longer bonus. Your bigger bonus is the same. So the longer you get, the more hex you get per T-share rate in order to calculate your actual number of T-shares. And then, it gives you all the data for it. And then, so at 555, you're going to have a average over time. This takes the average of that. And then this takes the average of that. Your running average basically. So at 555, you're going to get this 39, not even 40% yield and average. This is what you'll end up at the year 15. So, yeah, it gives you the number of days, start date, your bonuses, your T-shares, and then every time it end stakes, it'll say what's destroyed, and I can change that. Here, I'll change it quick to 7 days. I'll show you here what it calculates. So then, it takes your destroyed, and then it gives you an estimated daily return based on the number of T-shares you get, and then your total hex earned, and then what you earned over this time, and then it gives you what the hex contract, staking contract does is tries to calculate your end stake T-share rate, hex T-share rate, and then as long as the current on that day is above, it'll take the largest value. So if this is larger than this, it'll put this here instead of this estimated based on this. So it automatically does all that stuff. Total hex earned over time, your hex plus principal, yield plus principal, etc., etc. So here's to kind of show you that more days per stake is definitely going to you do a lot more, but you're not going to have access to that hex over time. So it's a trade-off, obviously. But then at some point I might add like estimated USD value of hex to kind of give you a percentage in USD what could possibly happen. If you're 15, we could be looking at $100 hex. You're 50, 1,000 or whatever you want to say. But you can I'll be able to maybe add a few columns for that for you guys. And then this hex daily stats just kind of is a copy of the current hex daily stats data. And I just copied it in order to grab the averages and stuff. So yeah, that's it. Make sure to get into the LiquidLoans Telegram to kind of talk about this strategy. It's originally by Haunted. If you go to YouTube, you can look up, I think, Haunted, or there's a channel that they posted this on originally. I can't remember what it's called, but the link to this spreadsheet will be available on the YouTube, so just look down in the description and you'll be able to get access to that. And let's see here, I'll talk to you soon, I guess. Thank you very much.